Welcome, influencers, to another jam session. With me today, Tina is joining us. She's been working with me for the last little while, and I thought I'd get her on a call, get her to share some great things that have been happening inside of her business. Welcome, Tina. Good to have you with us.
Thanks, Vaughan. Great to be here.
Hey, look, just to get things started, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you do, who you work with.
Sure. So I was working in corporate Australia as well as the US and Europe for over 20 years. And I went out on my own about, let's see, 9 months ago now. And my goal is to help corporates, so big, large organizations with about 5,000 employees or more, helping them about how they can help their people to work smarter without burning out.
Yeah, great. So let me ask this. Why did you start with the influencer project? What was the challenge and what was the goal?
Yeah, so I knew my content. So I know a lot from a productivity standpoint, a well-being standpoint. I have never worked though in sales or marketing. So I had absolutely no idea how to take my content and to really approach organizations to see if there was a good fit and to work together. And to be honest, I was pretty scared of the sales part. That just seemed pretty intimidating to me. So I was thinking, oh, I'd love someone to be able to do that. And I just focus on that adding value to the organization. But I realized that business doesn't work that way. I needed to grow my skills in being able to be comfortable having those conversations, know what my worth was also, and to really know how to get the foot in the door, have the conversations, and also to close the sales. So that's why I decided to partner with TIP, the Influencer Project.
Yeah, great, great. And it's been a good result, but let's go back to basics. First question here. How long have you been inside the program so far?
So I've been in the program for a bit over 8 weeks now. So what it means being in the program is that I've been attending each week. I attend on certain days calls with the TIP community where there's an expert, often Vaughan, you being one of those people to help us along the way. I also having calls with my coach, being yourself once again, and then really doing the work. And so it's been a bit over 8 weeks of Monday to Friday. I don't work weekends. And Monday to Friday, really putting in the work of building interest and generating leads and closing the sales.
Great, great. And what have the results been so far? What about those leads, the opportunity, and the sales to date?
Wow, pretty amazing. And one of the things, I'm a data-driven person, so I like looking at numbers. So I've got my cheat sheet here in front of me, and I'd like to actually read them because I think that
Far away.
it's pretty powerful when I go through the numbers. So I contacted 238 people and shared with them a lead message. So that was just saying, are you interested? Here's what I do. Are you interested? Most of those people were people in my existing network. And then from that, 52 people came back and said, hey, that sounds pretty interesting. I'm curious to hear more. And of those 52, I ended up having conversations with 26 of them. So a call and really to understand whether I could help them or not, as well as if they had the budget, as well as was this something they were interested in doing right now. And of those, 17 worked out to be a fit. And of those, I ended up having 12 calls to unpack a bit more. Is this the right thing and should we work together? And from those 12, 6 have resulted in booked sales. So that's signed contracts, invoices going out. There are another 5 that we're still in conversations and they've got to go through various approvals. And there was one where they were really interested, but then their budget got pulled. That's fine. They moved on. So of those 6 sales, so the figures to share with you, after 8 weeks of hard doing the work, I've invoiced $232,000. And for the other 5 that are sitting in approvals right now, I've got a very strong pipeline of a further $279,000. So what
Wow.
that means is that's over $500,000 worth of booked or very strong likelihood to be booked from really consistently doing the work over the past 8 weeks.
Wow. What a result. And you've got to be happy with that, right?
Oh, I did not expect that I would be able to get anywhere close to this. And I think for me, and a story that I really would love to share for people who are thinking, should I do the influencer project or not, is when I had the call working out whether I was going to sign up or not. Mitch, the person I spoke with, said, okay, so what would be your goal for 90 days? So for 12 weeks. And I said to him $40,000. So the program cost $10,000, and I said to him $40,000. And honestly, I said that because I felt like I should set a high ambition, and 40,000 to me was this really high ambition. Deep down, I knew that my actual goal was to get the return back on my investment. So my goal really was 10,000, even though I'd said 40,000. So if you think about what I've actually signed up already on the initial investment, I'm already at about 25 times ROI. So it has just completely and utterly surpassed any aspirations I had for the influencer project.
No, that's great. And hey, I just want to go back to something you said. You said before there that you'd reached out to your existing network, and this is great. But just for context for everyone else who's watching on as well, without the influencer project, without what you had learned here, what would your activity have been in terms of reaching out to those people?
I wouldn't have reached out to them. I think a really interesting one that has resulted in a quite significant booked sale was, Vaughan, as you know, one of the sayings that I learned from you is shake the tree, meaning just go out to your network, because you never know who's going to say yes and you don't know who's going to say no.
Yeah.
And an example of this was I reached out to someone who's a CFO of a multinational company. This person, I actually didn't directly work with him. We were on a leadership program together nearly 20 years ago.
Wow.
We've never worked directly together. We've never lived in the same country. Yet we know each other and we're connected on LinkedIn. And I sent him one of my lead messages saying, here's what I'm doing. If you're interested in your people working smarter, not harder, feel free to get in touch. And he put me in touch with his chief human resources officer, who has now become a client, and I'm doing some work with her whole HR leadership team and her whole broader HR team globally as a result of reaching out. Before the influencer project, there is no way I would have reached out to him, because I would have thought, I don't know him well enough. And so it's interesting that you never know who's going to say yes. And that's a great thing I've learned from the influencer project.
Love it. Love it. Sensational. So great. Yeah, you got to shake the tree, see what low-lying fruit is going to come out. Hey, knowing what you know now, and I know you've already touched on it, but what advice would you give to somebody who is watching this and considering joining up with us?
Yeah, so in terms of thinking of joining, as I shared, for me, it was about getting just my money back in terms of the return on investment. But the key things, there are three things that I believe have been absolutely instrumental in me getting the results that I have. And I've shared one there of the shake the tree, of you never know who is going to say yes. And Tip gave me the tools of how to actually approach them in the right way to be able to then get them to say, hey, that sounds really interesting. Tell me more. The second thing is doing the work. And when you do the work and you build interest, you build activity, what I found was it has helped me not to get attached to any one sale. So there was one particular client I really wanted to work with and do this amazing piece of work. And it was looking rocky for a little bit as to whether we were going to work together or not. And what I saw, though, when I wrote out all these different potential clients and where we were at in the conversations, I realized that if this one doesn't come off, that's okay. There are going to be many, many more to come. And so that's something else that I've learned, that consistently doing the work allows you and gives you the freedom to go, I don't have to rely on this one conversation for my workflow for the next however many months. And the third thing that I learned was around consistency of each day on the days that I work, to have steps that grow my business. So that could be growing my leads, that could be growing my sales, it could be growing my authority in the space of working smarter on LinkedIn. But Tip has this wonderful process and accountability model, so that then I knew that each day I just had to keep doing the work, and then the results would take care of themselves.
Fantastic, fantastic. And you've done the work, and the results are speaking. The numbers are speaking so loudly that you don't need to say it. So it is fantastic. Hey, one last thing. If you could, if you could describe the Influencer Project, our system, our process, in one word, what would it be?
That word would be transformational. I come from a background of business transformation, and the general definition that I've used over the years of, well, what does transformation actually mean? The definition that I and my colleagues have used over the years is a transformational impact is one where the results are 30% or higher improvement. So we're not talking small step changes in how you're doing things and tweaking things around the edges, but this is making a real step change in the way you're doing things. And if I think about what the Influencer Project has been for me, it more than meets that definition of being transformational.
Wow, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Tina. And for everyone watching on, I hope there's been some great value in this for you as well. Go out there, do the work, get the results. It's been great to have you. Thank you so much for sharing. Really do appreciate it.
So pleased to be able to share this, and hopefully my story inspires some of you who are there sitting on the fence and thinking, I don't know if I can do this. As I said, for me, I was just hoping to get my $10,000 back, and to have booked results of more than 25 times ROI, and it looks like it might be more like 50 by the end of it, is just something that I cannot thank the Influencer Project enough for. So thank you, Vaughan. Thank you, team. I really appreciate it.